see me?
You want to turn on the light so you can see it?
Yeah, go on and turn on the light so you can see.
Yeah, no shadows. Okay, I can see now.
Now we can barely see you. Okay, so they just saw intervention. Hi. Does it work?
Yeah. Is it green?
No. This is pretty good. Can you see us good? Can we turn out like one light?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Because we can't see his face anymore.
Your mother wants to see your
I have
face.
to see his face.
Can you see me?
Is somebody?
Yay!
Hello. Okay, so we did just watch intervention and it just ended. So I said that was up until August 30th. So then what happened and where are you now?
Okay, what happened after the intervention is I got shipped to California. I went through treatment here for 7 months. Did they show the update with Candy too? Or?
Oh, yes. We got kind of yes.
Okay, well, after the intervention with my family and everyone, I got shipped to California. I went through 7 months of treatment through Northbound, and Candy picked out the place, and it saved my life. Taught me how to live again without drugs. Whenever I got here, I was bankrupt, morally, spiritually. Drugs had pretty much taken everything from me. They made me into a person that I never wanted to be. And the counselors here, and the case managers here, basically, it was a 12-step program. I don't know if you're familiar with the AA 12 steps, but it's basically a spiritual program, not necessarily God, as a Christian God, but just a God as you want to define him yourself. And I've really found that, through my drug use and through, sacrificing the morals that I was brought up with, I really lost contact with any kind of higher power. My higher power was drugs. It was heroin. It was, Oxycontin. And I would do anything to get it. And as you saw in the episode, I've always said that I would never use needles because I was terrified of needles growing up. Like, I hated needles. But, after a while, you break through new bottoms, and I've smashed through as many new bottoms as I could because I was so ashamed of the person that I'd become, and I was so ashamed of, stealing money from my mother, my grandmother, being locked up in prison, talking to my family through a plate glass window was just, I didn't think that I could go any lower than that, and I did. And luckily, my sister, through calling intervention, saved my life. And when I got here, they taught me, how to be a man, how to live, how to deal with emotions and feelings, and how to communicate with my family again, and how to get back to the basics and find out really who I was. I was in treatment for 7 months, stayed sober, happy, got out of treatment, went to a sober living, stayed sober for about 3 months after that, and then I stopped doing basically all the things that they had taught me to do. I stopped talking to God, I stopped going to meetings, I stopped talking with my sponsor, I stopped doing the steps, and I had a job, I had a little bit of money, I had a girlfriend, and I took my will back, and I relapsed. After 10 months, I went straight back to heroin, and I basically, addiction is a progressive disease, and every time you go back out, you start right back where you left off, Within, I started out straight back on heroin, sticking a needle in my arm every day for 5 months, and I left a wake of destruction in my path with my family, with my friends, really with everyone who had loved me and showed me support over this 10 months, with, everyone who had tried to save my life before, I basically threw it back in their face, and after I'd made amends to them and told them how sorry I was, and I was truly sorry for everything that I did, but it didn't matter because, as I said, I stopped doing all the things that had kept me sober before, and all that mattered was the drug. And so for about 5 months, I was up here with friends that I had met in treatment, using heroin. And I was lying to my mother about what I was doing. I told her I was working, and I was definitely not working. I was working on getting heroin every day. I lied to my friends. I lied to the people who had my sober living. I lied to them for a long time. I egregiously broke all the rules here and got away with it for a while. And finally, they knew something was up because I looked like a zombie. You know, heroin will strip you of everything, physically and emotionally. And finally, they said something's going on, and they sent me to detox. And when I went to detox, I brought in about 1 gram of heroin with me and some needles. And I got through in the beginning, and then they found a needle in a pocket that I had packed in my suitcase. I had a syringe in one of my pockets. And so they strip searched me. When they strip searched me, they found the heroin, they found everything. And that's when I said, look, I give up. I give up. Help me. And they did. And I went through a 7-day detox, and I thought I was done, and I wasn't. Right as I got out, 7 days, that 9th day, I got out, and 2 days later, I was back on the streets looking for heroin. And relapsed again. And the sober living sent me back to a detox. Went to detox for 3 days. And I spent all 3 of those days lying in bed, just wondering what in the hell had I made of my life. Like I had a chance to start over, and I totally smashed it. And I was trying to figure out what had happened. And I don't know what happened. Heroin happened. Like the drug happened. It overpowers all of your senses, all of your emotions, all of your thinking. And but I got out of the detox 40 days ago, and since then I've been clean. And the only reason I've been clean for 40 days is because I started doing those things again. I started praying. I started hitting my knees and asking God to take my will. I started working with my sponsor again. I started doing panels. I started talking. This is basically like a panel to me. You know, like I'm talking to you fine people, and this helps me just as much as it helps you. You know, to share my story and to tell you where I've been and where I'm at. And so, yeah, I've been clean for 40 days today, and it's, you know, it's all those things that I stopped doing. All those things that I had stopped doing, you know, I realized that, you know, back when I was in my addiction, I could not imagine having to start over and having to go through the emotional, because the steps are emotional. You know, you have to get very honest with yourself. You have to figure out what your part is in all your mistakes. You have to figure out, you have to come up with a new plan of living. And when I was out, you know, I had done that before at Northbound. I could not imagine having to start over and having to identify as a newcomer in every AA meeting that I went to. You know, I have to get my ego out of the way and realize that the delusion that I was living in was not real life, and it's not experiencing life. You know, it would kill me, and I realize now that my ego will kill me, and if I don't stay humble, and if I don't be of service, and if I don't do, you know, all the things that I've been taught to do, then I will die. There's, you know, make no mistake about it, I would die with a needle in my arm if I don't stay close to God, if I don't talk to people, if I don't be honest with other people who will keep me accountable. And if I'm not honest with myself, I can't be honest with other people. And so, yeah, I go to 2 meetings a day now. I work with my sponsor. I talk to my mom every day. I talk to my sister pretty much every day. I try to stay in close communication with my family, even though I'm 1,200 miles away. and that's made me, it's filled me with something that I could never find with, with the drugs, with heroin, with opiates. It's filled me with a sense of inner peace, with a lightness of being that just, is something that I can't get out of the drug. And I don't know, back when I was in College Station, there is a lot of heroin in College Station. I didn't start on heroin. I actually didn't use heroin until I was 27 years old, and I started using opiates at the age of 18. And so I went through all the other pills first, but it got so expensive that I couldn't afford it, and heroin was cheap. And, through different drug dealers, I ended up finding it, and I thought that maybe if I came out to California, I would meet a new group of people, things would change, but, wherever you go, there you are, so it didn't really matter where I'm at. It matters what I'm doing to stay sober. It matters what I'm doing to change my life. And so, I'm peaceful today. I'm a little nervous because there is a lot of people in the room, but I hate talking in front of people, but I know that this is good for me. Being uncomfortable, contrary action is what helps people grow, and hopefully this will help me grow and provide you guys with some insight on what it's like to be, an addict, to be, addicted. We're all addicted to something, but, it doesn't necessarily take our lives and our will from us like heroin will, like alcohol will, like cocaine will, these things are very real, and they're everywhere. They're everywhere. And they're definitely in College Station, Brown College Station. And yeah.
Okay.
What, did you want to ask me a question?
Yeah.
Hi, Mom. Hey.
Hi.
Hey.
Y'all want to ask me a question, Justin? Do y'all have any questions? Y'all can ask him anything. I kind of wanted to ask him one, just so you know. Okay, so.
That checks out.
Okay, so when we think of drugs in Bryan College Station, we think that's, there's these shacks and poor people on the streets, and that's, yeah. And so could you address where kind of you did your drugs and where you?
I did my drugs all over. It didn't really matter where I was. Mainly, I did my drugs in Castlegate. I was at a friend's house who was living in Castlegate, and we were running wild, I did drugs in Pebble Creek, I did drugs everywhere where you would not think drugs are. There are drugs, there are drugs. I also did my drugs in downtown Bryan, it didn't really matter where I was, it mattered, where the drugs were. I did my drugs in the woods, I've done drugs behind gas stations, but mainly, it would be a mistake to just think that drugs are in tiny shacks in the poorest parts of the city. They are everywhere. They might originate from the poorest parts of the city, but they find their way everywhere. It doesn't matter where it is. They're there.
So how easy is it to get, like meet people? Where'd you meet people to get drugs? Everywhere? Dealers are everywhere?
Yeah, dealers are everywhere. I originally started taking opiates because I got ran over by one of my friends while we were on drugs. We were on Xanax, and he ran over me with the back wheel of his Tahoe, and I hurt my back. And then I went to the doctor, started getting prescribed opiates, and I fell in love. And after that, it was just through friends. I would meet one connection, and then through that connection, I would take his connection. And then through that connection, I would take his connection. So addicts can sniff out drugs. It does not matter where they are. That's the thing here. It did not take me long to find drugs up here, just because we gravitate to them. If we're not conscious of where we're at and where our mind is at the time.
So, tell them what you're doing in June. What you decided you're going to do with your life.
I'm taking a recovery coaching class to get certified as a recovery coach. The sober living that I'm at, offers offers recovery coaches to people, and the owner has asked me to get certified so that I can help out with some of the lower functioning people. Not that I'm high functioning, but there's a lot of addicts that get out of treatment that don't know what they want to do, and can't do resumes, and need help with, finding jobs. And, I'm good at giving people advice on what to do. I'm just not good at taking my own advice. And
so would you talk about Dr. Joe? Because, some people think you just get out and you do all the 12-step, but you do have an addiction doctor, you might say.
Yeah, I saw Dr. Joe yesterday. He's an addiction specialist. He actually is a doctor here in Newport who, he's in recovery as well. He got busted stealing his patients' pills. So he was basically having them bring in pills so that he could see what they were taking. He would take the pills and then replace them with lookalike pills, and he got busted. And that was, I think he's been sober for about 5 years. But that just shows you that addiction doesn't know a socioeconomic class. It does not know. It does not matter. It will hit people of all classes, of all colors, of all gender. It doesn't matter. And that's one thing I've learned. You come into these AA meetings, and there are people from all walks of life in there, trying to make their lives better. But it's amazing. It's amazing to see. Dr. Joe has been instrumental in helping me get sober. When I first went in, I got out of detox and went straight to Dr. Joe's office, and they took me straight there. And he helped prescribe me some non-narcotic meds that would help me deal with the withdrawal symptoms. And he has been instrumental in helping me stay sober. He understands addiction because he's an addict. He understands it from a different point of view than a lot of doctors would. So he has a radio show here in Newport, and he talks about addiction. And he's involved, and he's somebody that I really look up to. He's a good guy. I'm glad that the guys here sent me to him.
Okay, so now if you'll just stay put. Just stay put.
I'll stay put.
Okay. Where's our mic? Okay. Let's give it up front. We're gonna hear. You like to be called Cindy or Cynthia?
I have a question.
Okay. Judy wants to ask you a question, but just give me Cindy.
Hi, Justin.
Hey, Judy.
Hey. Okay, so as a former public school teacher, and you're not that old, but are drugs just rampant in our Bryan and College Station high schools, junior highs?
Absolutely. I started doing cocaine when I was 16. The first time I did cocaine was when I was 16. I think the first time I smoked weed was when I was in 7th grade. And I wasn't hanging out. I was playing sports. I was, making good grades. I was doing fine in school. I just, they're everywhere. It doesn't matter where they're at. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. I don't know where they originate. Usually they originate from the older classmen, hand them down to the younger classes, and then it just kind of filters down. But I was doing acid and mushrooms when I was 16, 17 years old, and they were not hard to find at all. I remember eating mushrooms in school one time, in class, and it was horrible. I don't know why I did that, but it's just, it's just, being a kid. But they're everywhere.
Thank you.
Okay, Cindy's gonna grab the mic. Can you see Cindy?
I can see half of Cindy.
Okay. Cindy, you want to get over where Justin can see?
Hey, Cindy, I can see you.
Hey, how are you? Justin, I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I just got back from a conference where I actually am an LCDC. So I just got back from a conference that talked about overdose.
Can we get the mic working a little better so people behind you can hear you?
That overdose is so much bigger.
She just needs to hold it
I
closer.
don't think it's.
That overdose is so much bigger when you come out of a period of clean time.
It is. That's a fact. Because people try to continue on where they left off, and I know at least 3 people who have overdosed and died coming out of treatment that I was in with them because they don't understand that you cannot continue, that they try to take the dose that they took before they went into treatment, and they've been clean, so their tolerance has gone down so much that it kills them. They die. I mean, it's sad. It's tragic.
Right, they were actually talking about, that it's becoming the #1 killer overdose opiate, from opiates across the country.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know if you're aware of this, but in Austin, they actually have a doctor that signed a standing prescription. Have you heard of naloxone or Narcan?
Narcan is the shot. Naloxone is what they put in Suboxone, right?
Well, that's naltrexone.
No, naloxone they put in Suboxone. Naltrexone is...
Well, no, naloxone is the drug that they give you when you overdose.
Okay.
To wake you
I'm actually taking naltrexone now.
Yeah,
That's...
naltrexone, right.
Yeah.
But anyway, they were talking about it's the #1 killer across the country right now, and it's to the point that in New York, they actually have opened up a heroin little hangout for people to bring their heroin in, and they provide clean needles, and they're there with the Narcan to wake.
They do that in Canada as well.
Yeah. So, I just want to say to you that I'm really proud of you because, you've had some relapses, and you know what, sometimes that's what it takes to recover.
It does.
And the only thing I do want to say to you is, you're not bad. I heard you call yourself, bad and different things. And, when I talk to clients, I tell them it's not about being bad, it's about being sick. Your brain loves that drug, and it's that simple, and that's why it's a 1 day at a time deal.
1 hour at a time, sometimes.
Exactly. You can't use yesterday, it's gone. You can't use tomorrow, it's not here.
Right.
What are you gonna do this day to stay clean?
Right.
So, I'm really proud of you that you jumped back on the boat quick enough and you're getting into the field, which is gonna help a lot.
Yeah.
Giving back what you got. So, real proud of you.
Thank you.
Cindy, will you hold your brochures up and say real quick, Baby Love, because we're going to go to the choir singing after that. We have a gospel choir here from Rudder, Justin, after you.
That's awesome.
Okay, well,
I wanted Justin to hear the program you had to.
okay.
You
Actually,
can sit up and talk to us. You can turn around and talk to us.
okay. Like, who am I talking to? No. Actually, I think most everybody in here is familiar with the Baby Love program. Baby Love is an intervention program that provides, we evaluate the person to determine whether they need treatment or intervention or whatever they need.
Hold it up a little bit closer.
Baby Love is intervention, and just to let you know, eligibility wise, they have to be pregnant postpartum, 18 months or under, or if CPS is involved, the child can be 5 and under. The program is funded by the Department of State Health Services, so it's free to the clients. We provide diapers every time we see the clients. We provide baby bucks where they can earn things that they need for their babies and themselves. We also use the nurturing parenting curriculum, and we do crisis one-on-one counseling. The good thing about Baby Love is it's very individualized, and it's about delivering healthy, clean, abstinent, full-term, weight babies. So we can keep them, if we get them at a month pregnant, we can keep them until they're postpartum. And just to tell you all too, I'm gonna leave some cards and brochures up here, but recently we received some funding for the Baby Love Expansion Program, and we're really excited about this because this is about, I don't know if anybody is familiar with the acronym NAS, but it's neonatal abstinence syndrome. And this, some people in here are gonna be like, what? But what this is about is babies that are, moms that are, actually it's the 3rd leading cause of death for pregnant moms using opiates. And opiates meaning narcotic pain pills like Justin was talking about, the Oxycontin, Vicodin, all that, and also heroin. When the baby is born, with NAS, neonatal abstinence syndrome, the baby is in withdrawal, and we can lose the baby, and this is the part you're probably not gonna understand, but we wanna get that mom on methadone. So there's actually a big facility in San Antonio that takes pregnant moms, and they get them, they put them right on methadone, because the methadone half-life is 24 hours. So they keep the baby and the mom stable throughout the pregnancy. We don't want the baby, like, Justin, like you talked about, when you don't have that opiate, you're sick. So you're gonna do what, you're gonna steal out of mom's purse, you're gonna do what you gotta do to get it. So, what we wanna do is we don't want the baby and mom, because death of both. We don't want the baby and mom up and down, looking for heroin, and up and down, up and down. And so what we want to do is we want to get them on methadone throughout the pregnancy. Then when the baby is born, the scary part is mom's afraid to call and get help, because here comes CPS. So we need to be aware that we're trying to keep mom, and CPS has a job to do, and we have to keep our kids safe, and that's a fact. But we also, there's some different things. We actually have them back at BV Casa, kangaroo pouches, where they actually wrap the mother up and put the baby in there, and it's a lot of skin to skin touch, and it actually helps physical withdrawal with the baby and bonding. It's amazing, the stuff we learned at the conference last week that we went to. But the expansion program, real quick to let you know, it's an outreach program, so it's kind of an expansion off of Baby Love, where we'll go out in the communities. Like Justin, I guess we'll head for Castlegate. But anyway, the program is outreach, and what we're going to do is hit the streets, and we're going to do some pregnancy testing. We're going to do some HIV testing. Matter of fact, our staff will be trained in June in HIV, and then we'll be trained in how to do the tests, and then we'll be able to do the rapid tests that we get the results right then. So, and then we'll also evaluate to get community resources, get the person into treatment, get them off the streets, and all of that. So I just wanted to let y'all know I have brochures up here for the actual Baby Love, and I have brochures for the new program, the expansion of Baby Love. And I have business cards of who to contact up here for if you have a client that needs our services, because BV Casa also offers treatment, outpatient treatment, and we do a lot of screening. We don't charge to screen, and we will actually screen and get the person where they need to be. If they need detox, we'll look. We're the only state-funded facility within probably 100 miles, just so, if the person doesn't have any benefits or whatever. But anyway, thank y'all for letting me share all that, and Jason,
Justin.
I'm really proud of you. You're literally a miracle. I hope you know that, because we have, I think they said they saved 365 lives in Austin with the Narcan in the last several months.
Wow.
So you're a miracle.
Thank you. I love you too. Thank you for letting me speak to you guys.